Hello, good evening, and welcome to it. It is exclusive interviews, our very first exclusive interviews for 2022 with a guest. And tonight's guest is multi-talented. She's beautiful. She's a singer. She's an actress. She's a designer. She's got a talk show. I mean, she's got a whole lot of things going on for her. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Yolanda Chimbarani. I'm your host, Itai Mutiniri, as always, and I want to introduce to you this multi-talented, beautiful young lady. Hi, Yoli.
Hi, Ty. How are you?
It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, born in Zimbabwe, right now based in Canada, doing it big. I'm sure I left a whole lot of things. Who is Yolanda?
I always consider that as the hardest question.
I know. It's a lot.
It is a lot. But Yolanda is an actress, a voiceover artist, a model, and a fashion designer in a nutshell.
Okay, let's talk about acting. I saw some of your plays, Windfall, Play Sites, and which other films did you do?
Currently, I am doing voiceovers for Super Strikers, which is the cartoon animation. And then I have featured in Plain Sight. That's on Amazon Prime right now.
Wow.
Stump the Guesser as well. The Rabbit Hunters. Nelly Bly, which is on Live TV.
Girl!
Yeah.
How did you even get into acting? Okay, let's talk about moving to Canada. First of all. Like, why did you move to Canada?
It has always been my dream to either move to Canada or the US. So being an artsy person, back then, like in 2017, the Zimbabwean arts industry was still growing. But I felt that Canada would be a great place to start off. I mean, Zimbabwe gave me a very good base, but you needed to put the talent out there. So in 2017, I moved to Canada. The main reason was for school, actually, to study, and then alongside doing the arts.
And then how did you actually get into the arts? I mean, now you're like a superstar. But how do you do it? Do you go out for auditions? Do you get spotted on the road? Like, how do you do it?
At times, I would randomly get agencies that will stop me at the mall or, asking if I'm a model or if I'm an actress. But right now, I'm currently signed under agencies for modeling and for acting. And my journey started in 2014, actually, here in Zimbabwe. Yes. In high school and primary school, I was a very shy girl, really timid. I would sit in my own little corner. I had big eyes, so I always felt out of place.
Beautiful eyes.
Exactly. But I was really, really tall. And then in 2014, after I had written my O-levels, there was Miss Sarah Junior at that time. So I decided, I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot.
Let me try it out.
Let me try it out, And back then, like, I barely knew anything about modeling. I didn't even have training. So even the day I auditioned, they told me to go back home because I didn't know how to walk properly. But I was like, no, I'm not going to give up. My dad told me not to give up, so here we go. So then I looked for a trainer, went for training, and then come the day of the final show, I won the crown on that day.
Wow.
Yeah, and then in 2016, I went on to Miss Zimbabwe, 2014 actually, sorry. So unfortunately, I didn't get the crown, but I broke the record for being the youngest ever contestant to ever contest for Miss Zimbabwe. And becoming a finalist at the age of 16. I was 16 then. And then after that, I moved to Canada in 2017. I would just randomly go to the mall and get agencies walk up to me and say, hey, are you a model or are you interested in becoming a model? And also acting as well. The city that I moved to, they don't have a lot of people of color. So being a black person,
you stand out.
Yes, you do stand out. Especially when you have your natural hair out, you do stand out. So that's how I eventually got signed under different agencies in Canada.
I read an article where you talk about models being stereotyped in a certain way. Maybe if you could, expand on that in the industry.
Yes.
What is it like?
As of late, actually, we've had a lot of stories about models being abused or, you know, things that happen in the modeling industry. But there's a lot of good things that do come out. I mean, models are advocates, models are educated people, models are go-getters. They're not people who are after other people's husbands or, you know. So that was also the main reason why I started my own talk show, which is called Talk the Walk. So it's like, you know what, at the end of the day, it's that picture that everybody gets to like on Instagram, but you don't know the backstory. You don't know how I earned that role. You don't know how I became to become a brand ambassador for Edgar's. So that platform is there to share our stories as models and to also advertise ourselves and tell people that, hey, models are doing big things out there. I mean, Miss World, Miss Universe. I mean, everybody knows Zozibini Tunzi right now, who was Miss Universe 2018.
Doing it big.
Exactly. And those, like, such models are educated. They're running non-profit making organizations that are making a difference in the community. So there's a lot more to modeling than just walking down the ramp.
And don't you think like it's just a few bad eggs that actually tarnish the image of the models? Because I'm sure there are models that actually, you know, taint this whole modeling industry and, you know, do the whole bad, you know, behavior.
Yes, definitely. And that platform is there to help other models grow as well and tell the world that, hey, I'm here. Hey, we're here, you know? So,
So, guys, I am with Yolanda, the Zimbabwean-born Canadian actress doing it big. We're about to take a break. Join us in the second segment. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching exclusive interviews on ZTN, and today I've got a very interesting guest, Yolanda Chimbarami, who is telling us about herself and her journey as a multi-talented, beautiful young lady living in Canada. So, Yolanda, let's talk about you being talented. Is this something that just came from family? Do you have any artists in the family, or it's Yoli who's shining?
Well, my family is full of people who are actually business-minded.
Wow, okay.
Yes, all my sisters and my brothers are into business.
Artsy people?
Not really, but my dad has a creative side. So, yeah, ever since I was in grade 3, I think he noticed that I really loved drawing, sketching. So since then, he's just been buying me art equipment and then encouraging me to get into the arts. So, yeah.
Okay. And let's talk about females, the black females that are doing it big in the industry. Who do you look up to?
Danai Gurira.
Of course. Who else? Danai.
I mean.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you like about her?
Her being Zimbabwean, taking pride in that and letting the world know that she's proudly Zimbabwean and still making it big out there. You know, my mom always says, you know, and I see when Dana is having interviews, she says, yes, I'm Zimbabwean, and her name and her last name, she takes pride in that. You know, because there are a lot of Zimbabweans that are doing big things out there, you know, so it's really nice when people tend to appreciate that.
Okay, and let's talk about racism in the industry as well. There are some females that came forward and talked about racism. Have you ever experienced any of that?
Yes, definitely.
And how did you handle it?
Honestly, it's just reminding yourself of who you are, what you carry, and the end goal. You know, but as of late, because of the Black Lives Movement, they have been more inclusive. I remember before that I worked on a production where we were only 2 black people, and they were proud to say, yes, we're an inclusive production.
You can imagine.
But you know,
just 2,
yes, out of the 200 employees they had, there was just 2 black people. And I asked the producer, I was like, so where's the inclusive? Like, how are you including Black people in this? You know, so yeah, but now things have changed. They're becoming more accommodating to people of color, so which is something that's making me really proud of the industry.
Okay, and let's talk about our arts industry here. Did you do any acting in Zim?
Not necessarily. It was mostly in high school, plays.
Yeah, but what do you think about our Zim industry, film industry?
Honestly, we have grown. I mean, we now have a Netflix movie, the very first Zimbabwean movie on Netflix. We have grown over the last few years. There's been a lot of productions. And we also have Play TV Africa as well, which I think is going to be not Netflix, actually Netflix's greatest competition, you know, that they're making huge strides in the industry. They're really lifting up the Zimbabwean arts industry.
What do you think actually hinders us as a country from getting there to the top? I mean, it's been years, and when we look back, we had films like Neria, those were like the films, and we haven't had any, you know, like big films like that. Like, what do you think hinders us from really growing as an industry?
I think it's exposure. The more we expose ourselves even to international platforms, you realize that we make big strides in the industry. So I just want to encourage all filmmakers to even submit. There are a lot of film festivals that take place in Canada, in the US, you know, and those are really, really big platforms that we can actually submit our work and get recognized. And that's how we eventually had our first Netflix movie. They started off in the US, you know, they were submitting to different film festivals in the US and then eventually got picked to be on Netflix. So we should not give up. Let's just keep pushing.
Okay. And let's go back to the talk show you said you do. What inspired that? What is it about? And, you know, who do you interview and they, I also want to come.
Sure. You know, it's mostly models because we don't have a platform.
I was a model.
You like the industry. Not even, you know, things have changed. There's so many things have changed. Also against the stereotype that models are tall and slender. You know, because your height is not something that you ask God for. You know, so modeling is a platform where you should be appreciating other women. You know, we should be embracing whatever features we have. So right now modeling it's open. There are hand models, there are face models, there's hair models, you know, which is something that I'm glad the industry is opening up to. And then the talk show also is about giving models that platform to air out our views, you know, to market ourselves, to tell other people, aspiring models, also how to get into the industry. And then also coming from a Christian background and moving to Canada, it's not a Christian country. So at times you have to go back to your principles and your values and double check with some of the things. Sometimes you might get a role and they say, hey, we want you to do a sex scene. Are you comfortable with it? And they're offering you thousands of money. So if you're broke at that time, it's easy to accept the offer, you know. But if you know your values and you know what you stand for and you know the end goal, you can simply say, hey, this is not me. I will pass on the money and the opportunity. It could be a Netflix movie, but it's not me. So on the talk show, we highlight some of those issues and we stand firm in our values.
How to do what you love and be comfortable in your skin and stick to your values. Okay, talk about you having a banging body, still having a model body, and I'm here getting bigger. I used to be as small as you. Like, how do you stay fit?
I actually eat a lot. It's hard to believe, but I love my food.
Okay. On that note, let's continue as we take another short break. Join us for the third segment of exclusive interviews. It is the third segment on exclusive interviews, and for those that are joining us, we were talking about Yolanda keeping fit as a model. You were saying, how do you keep fit, girl?
I I actually eat a lot, but I'm very active. I'm always on my feet most of the time.
Yeah.
Running around.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and I do work out sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not constant, but yeah.
You do
Thank
work
you.
out.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the auditioning processes that you go through when before the movie. Like, what is it like?
It's quite a hectic process, actually. For movies, you can audition 5 times until you finally get the role. And then for modeling, it's usually a once-off. You go see the casting directors and then that's done. For voice work, my experience so far has been interesting, actually. I know for Super Strikers, it took me a year. I auditioned for that for a whole year. So yes.
Tell us about Super Strikers.
That has been the most interesting project I've ever worked on. It took me a year to audition for Super Strikers.
A whole year?
A whole year, yes.
Wow.
My agent submitted twice, and then I went into the studio for an audition. And then I also submitted on my own as well. So that took me a whole year. And then when I finally booked the role, which is the first role, I went into the studio, did the voiceover. And then the producer was like, wait, hold on a minute. I love your voice. How about I give you a second role?
Oh, wow.
And then he gave me another character.
Yeah.
And then after that, he was like, I'm going to give you a third one.
Wow.
But then unfortunately that didn't end up working out because 2 of the characters had dialogue.
Okay.
So then the voice would be kind of similar.
Yeah.
But we have been recording that for over a year now. We'll be done with season 8 hopefully in May. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And of all these talents that you have, I mean, designer, singer, what actress, model, which one do you think you're, strongest at?
That's a hard question. I mean, they're all my babies. I can't reject any of them. So, wow, that's hard. That's hard. I feel like all of them, they just come natural.
Okay.
I guess,
They're
yeah.
the same?
They're the same.
What are you best at?
Wow. What I love most is runway.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, and then drawing and painting, that just comes naturally.
Okay.
Yeah.
You paint, you draw.
Yes.
Okay, what do you not do?
I
think that should be the question. Because you do everything. Okay, let's talk about you just being away from home. Do you get homesick? I mean, do you miss home? How often do you come?
I mean, homesickness, it's a common disease. Like, I try to visit home every year, at least. Yes, and I do miss home a lot. I miss the food, sadza, rice nomi. That's the first thing I have whenever I land.
There's no sadza in Canada.
It's very hard to find it. Sadza nima veggies. It's so hard. So whenever I land, I'm like, my mom knows that whole week we're having rice nomi or sadza, you know. But it's always good to be back home. I mean, I love the weather. Zim is so blessed with beautiful weather.
Oh,
right now,
so cold.
It is. Like right now it's -40. I am dreading my return. I wish I could stay here for longer.
When are you back?
Hopefully 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here for a while, but hopefully 3 weeks. I haven't booked my return yet. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, what advice would you give that young lady, the boy that's watching, that's aspiring to be like you, know, that wants to be in your shoes? What can you tell them?
Never give up. Giving up should not be an option. You know, if you plan on being an actor, model, singer, dancer, don't give up. And it's also very important to look for mentors, people that you look up to and people that will take you through the journey, because these are people that have been through it all, so they'll always advise you on where to go, who to talk to, what to do. So always look for mentors, always look for connections, you know, and be professional all the time. Don't compromise your value because you want that role or you want that money. Know who you are, what you stand for, and your end goal as well.
nice.
Yeah.
You can be anything you want to be.
Exactly, as long as you put your mind to it.
Yeah. And before you go, you cannot go without answering this. Who is in Yolanda's life? Is there anybody, you know, does Yolanda have a boyfriend?
I hope my mom is not watching. But yes, I am very much taken.
Yeah.
After my kid, I have a boyfriend. Yes.
Too bad, guys. Too bad. Okay. She's taken.
Yeah. I love you, mom.
And she was watching. Okay, so I guess this is it. But before you go, since you're a singer, maybe if you can give me a little bit of something.
Unfortunately.
What? The voice is what?
It's not working today.
You got a drink. I mean, you can sip on something.
Well, I'll definitely send you a clip. But
Okay.
yeah.
Next time.
I had some voice work to do, so yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
I had a fantastic time.
Yeah.
That was exclusive interviews, guys. The very first exclusive interviews in 2022. I'm super excited to be back. Join us again next week for more exclusive. And Jam Tree, thank you so much for the refreshing drink from me and the crew behind the scenes. It's goodbye.